it shall see the light of the day.
From seas to hills we claim our chance to pave the way. Unify hand in hand, we sing an anthem of hope, an anthem of peace. Our voice tomorrow sustains, leading the change our world needs to see, the change we shall be. It's time to change the tide of fate and set our hearts on fire. And we will never stop until we break the chains that bind us down. Beneath that which we sow, let our actions flow for tomorrow. Unify hand in hand, we sing an anthem of hope, an anthem of peace. Our voice tomorrow sustains, leading the change our world needs to see, the change we shall be. It's a
Climate crisis, times are changing, mountains sinking and the oceans rising. But if we participate to mitigate this tragic state of the human race, we inculcate into the young that once united we are strong, and the world we've all been longing for is just one step out the door.
whispers of the past we hear.
Stories of old, loud and clear.
It's time to cast away our fears.
Tomorrow's not here.
It's finally here. Our chance to pave the way. Unify hand in hand, we sing an anthem of hope, an anthem of peace. Our voice tomorrow sustains, leading the change our world needs to see, the change we shall be.
Hello, dear members. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are currently located. Welcome to the Unify, United International Federation of Youth, where we let our actions flow for tomorrow. We are so excited to finally have you on board and currently meet you virtually. This session is live streamed on our YouTube and Facebook channels. This is your captain speaking, and today I'll be the moderator of this onboarding session. My name is Peshank Hamakarim, and I am from the Kurdistan region of Iraq. I'm the regional youth focal point for Northern Africa and Western Asia. So first of all, I would like to kindly ask you to put down your name and your country in the chat so that we can get to know each other better, whether it's on YouTube or on Facebook. So in today's session, we will have our colleague Ernesto from Mexico. So he will be the presenter of this session, and he will introduce us to what Unify is all about. He will also shed more light on where and how we can play our part in this impactful journey. So first of all, I would like to start by telling you how you feel right now. So we want to make some icebreaker activities. So here, as you can see on the screen, so just write in the chat what expression best describes how do you feel right now, okay? So for me, I pick number 9 because I'm super excited to meet you here finally, but I'm also anxious about what will be going on. So please just write down in the chat, how do you feel And what's your mood right now? Are you excited like me or not? So yeah, I can see some inputs. We have number 3, yeah. So they are very impatient to know what will happen. So yeah, we have many inputs. We have many people from Nigeria, from Chad. I can see from the YouTube, and also from Facebook. We are from Zambia, from Benin. Yeah, and we have also some colleagues which are writing the numbers, their moods, number 2, number 3, number 8. Yeah, so this is a good icebreaker activity to know exactly how do you feel right now. Are you excited to know more about Unify? And I'm pretty sure that all of you are super excited to be here. And I can see it from your answers. Oh, we have friends from Canada, from Cameroon. Very nice. So let's move forward and go to our second Mentimeter activity. So basically, in this activity, we kindly ask you to scan the QR code, which you can see, okay? And meanwhile, our friend put the link in the chat so that you can just click on the link and enter to the Mentimeter, or you can directly go to the www.mentimeter.com and write the Menti code. Then we have the question. So what's the word that comes to your mind when you hear about the youth? For example, when I hear about youth, I feel energy, power, and action. So what do you feel? So we have some inputs from our colleagues. I invite you all to just write your ideas about what do you think when you hear the word youth. So what comes to your mind? Enthusiasm, yes. People up to 35 years, of course, yes. Future, yes, exactly. The youth are the future. So we have many more inputs, okay? So passion, vigor, yes. Young people, exactly. We have fire, exactly, because youth are the action, so they are the source of the fire. Strong, exactly. Patient, we have innovation, because the innovation comes from the youth. Exactly. Change makers. Thank you so much for that nice thing. So yes, exactly. Youth are the source of the change makers. Youth are energy. Exactly. So all those things are youth. Oh, I can see many more inputs coming to the activist. Exactly. So the youth are the activists. And change. When we, yes, exactly, because youth like to make change, because they have a brighter, they have a more wider vision to life. That's why when you hear about the youth, we hear about the word change. I kindly want to ask from you that while the session will be going, please feel free to put your questions in the chat, because I know that you will have many questions, okay? So we will try to answer the questions as we can, okay? And so just write down your questions in the chat so that our colleagues can collect the questions, and then we can give a proper answer to those questions. So this is all from me, and I will be seeing you again in between the presenting session slides. Then in the Q&A session, I will be again with you. So here, I would like to give the floor to my friend Ernesto. So buenos días, amigo Ernesto, desde Mexico. So the floor is yours.
Dziękuję, moi przyjacielu z Polski. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the second onboarding call for Unify, the United International Federation of Youth. Today, we will be meeting a little bit of what is this all about? What is this raffle that's been going over social media and popping here, popping there, all over the world, just this huge movement that's been happening. Can we please go to the slides so that we go over our agenda, please? Thank you very much. So we will be tackling 8 main points today. what's the introduction to the team, then what is Unify, our core objectives, what's the YDPA, the so fabled YDPA, the communications channels that we are going to engage into, the roles and responsibilities that each one of us are going to be attaining, what is next, and of course our Q&A. Next slide, please. So first of all, in the front row, in the front lines, the people that are making the magic happen with the big people at the big people table, the COP27 negotiations facing the governments, we have, of course, Giancarlo Guillermo from the Philippines. He is the Youth Engagement Officer of WMO, and Unify is his brainchild. So if there's someone to clap and think about, it is him. But not staying behind, we also have Ms. Smita Misra from Nepal, who is also functioning as the regional youth focal point for Central and South Asia, and Ms. Anjanet Dantiles from the Philippines, who is currently living in Spain as regional youth focal point for East and Southeast Asia. They are again engaging with the big partners, just putting face for all of our youth. So big round of applause for them. Really respect them. Great. Moment of appreciation, and let's go to the next slide. Thank you. So we have our friend Peshang, who has been doing a fantastic work as a moderator so far, who is representing Northern Africa and Western Asia as regional youth focal point. He is from Kurdish Iraq, and he is the most professional member of our team. You will always see him withholding the standards of our community. You also have Miss Melek Romdan from Tunisia. Did you know that Melek means angel in Arabic? She is the regional youth focal point for Northern Africa and Western Asia, and she has fantastic energy, and you will see her all around the place engaging with the communications channels. We also have Miss Zainab Zahid from Pakistan. She is the regional youth focal point for Central and South Asia, co-leading with Susmita Misra, and she has one of the most beautiful and entertaining brains that I have ever met. You also have Mr. Brian Kakembo from Uganda, Bula, the king from Uganda, regional youth focal points for Sub-Saharan Africa, and of course, we cannot forget Miss Titilayo Adebayo from Nigeria, our mistress of ceremonies. She has a full fan following already acquired over the past years. She is huge in Glasgow, in the Philippines, in Tajikistan. Basically, everywhere she lands, she gets followers. She is representing Sub-Saharan Africa as co-regional focal point with Brian Kakembo. And of course, we have Ziheng Xuan from China, who, in case you didn't know, has been working in the YDPA, Nate, and she just messaged me over here personally. She is flattered. Ziheng Xuan has been working with the policy team leading the YDPA along with Zainab, and of course, in the next slide, Maria. Can you please go over the next slide? Thank you very much. So my co-lead at the regional focal point position for Latin America and the Caribbean, and also a hard worker for the policy team and the YDPA process, Maria Mercedes Curi from Argentina. And of course, here at your service, me, I'm Ernesto Gedecanto. I live in Mexico. I come from the place of the meteorite that landed and killed all the dinosaurs thousands and millions of years ago. Yeah, I know, it's pretty cool. We also have the Mayan civilization. In case you haven't watched Wakanda Forever, go watch it. It's an amazing depiction of our culture, even a little bit of flavor with the Marvel cinema. Here at your service, of course, we have Casey Gerosano, or Kesaya Gerosano, now living in the United States, but originally from the Philippines, who is our finance and partnerships lead, one of our most valuable members, and we all treat her with a golden glove because she is the one facing the people that are handling the money for the constituency and, of course, making all of this happen. We also have Ms. Davila Talemay Maleja from Fiji, who is Aboriginal from Oceania, leader of her region that has been single-handedly representing the Oceania people for the past year and doing a fantastic job with the membership team. We also have Jay Gaspar from the Philippines, an absolute unit of a leader, now engaging as communication coordinator. We also have, of course, Prakash Lama from Nepal as an admin assistant and graphic designer, whose job you will be enjoying throughout this presentation, as well as Paolo de la Torre from Philippines, who's been assisting him with these fantastic graphic assets. Thank you very much. So now let's go over the meat of the sandwich. What is the Water and Climate Coalition? First of all, you need to know that Unify is the youth constituency from the Water and Climate Coalition. That means that they are the ones that are engaging as the political body in the UN, and they are formed by several organizations from UN. They are endorsed by World Meteorological Organization, World Health Organization, UNICEF, just to name a few. And they are composed by several leaders and experts are from around the world, from Tajikistan, the Netherlands, most notoriously, who has been engaging with tackling the problem of the melting glaciers and the availability of drinkable water and the problems that we're going to face with the climate and our quality of life in the upcoming years. So these organizations are sworn to fight for a future in which clean water and sanitation for all is achieved, and also the climate action is part of the core activities of every single community. So thank you for this slide. Can we please move on to the next one? Thank you. So Unify, the movement and the festival. If you don't know already, Unify stands for two brandings actually. Which one is the movement in which you are currently now engaging on this activity, as the United International Federation of Youth, and we also have the festival, which is the gathering where we are going to meet face to face and we are going to be discussing the policies and strategies and results from the implementation of the YDPA with the stakeholders and the leaders of your governments. So this is the time for us to party, but also the time to come to closure to what happened the entire year. It's both the reward and the how do you say it? And this sworn commitment that you will keep doing a great job for the following year. Next slide, please. So this is something that we are very proud to announce. The WMO, the World Meteorological Organization, and the OSGE, or the Secretary Office of the Secretary General Envoy of Youth, are jointly endorsing the Unify movement as the flagship youth summit for the Water and Climate Coalition. What this means is that Unify is representing all of the youth around the world during the UN 2023 Water Conference and within the processes of the Water and Climate Coalition. Please, next slide. Unify is recognized by the Major Group of Children and Youth, or MGCY, which is the major umbrella for all of the youth constituencies. So Unify is certified to be a part of the UN processes and their activities. You can see their beautiful logo right in the middle of the screen right there. Next slide, thank you. Also, during this mid-term of the year, Unify was presented during the briefing on the UN 2023 Water Conference preparations. This is a huge honor, as this was the first very visible step for Unify to become the constituency that today is, with over 4,000 members from around the world. And in the if I remember correctly, in the final declaration for the Dushanbe water process, which, in case you didn't know, is the first to happen after decades of the last water process, you can read this line in this particular page. We support and encourage the participation of young people to play an important role in the UN 2023 Water Conference, and further note with interest the development of a drumroll water and climate youth development plan and agenda. So basically, it is all official. It's in paper. They're expecting it. We have to deliver, my friends. Next slide, please. So what are going to be our core objectives? First of all, Unify is a platform. So the main activity that you expect to be doing most of the time is to engage with other members from the constituency. It is the inclusive networking platform for SDG 6 and SDG 13 advocates. If water, if climate are your main gigs, you're in the right place, my friend. You will find a network of experts, enthusiastic activists, stakeholders that wish to do their bid, and of course governments that are interested into curbing the carbon emissions and the improving the quality of life of their citizens. So you will also form part of the global impact monitoring system. So let's say that you're now engaging in activities such as tree planting or water purification or energy projects, and that's all right, that's perfect, that's amazing, great. But who's keeping track of that? So our proposal is that as a member of Unify will be keeping track of all your progress and their impact in the global scheme. So you have to only bother about making your job, and we will make sure that it is taken into consideration for the bigger targets. For the proper representation of the youth sector, you will be advocating as a member of the constituency, representing every single other member. So we are trying to keep a standard as high as possible of professionalism so that we can change the overarching perception that youth is just a mass of rumbling, energetic people without focus. So we are here to change this notion. We're here to change that perspective so that we can be taken into consideration, so that we are accounted for, and that we are taken seriously for this work. We're also with the involvement of the coalition processes, the water and climate coalition processes, whenever they need the mass bulk support of youth, they turn to Unify, they turn to us, so that they are ensuring the proper inclusion of the different troubles that you may be facing in your particular region. It is not the same the problems that we face with water in here that you may face, for example, in Tajikistan or in Japan or in Nicaragua, for example, or in Spain. So by adhering to the processes, you are giving voice to your entire community. And also, the youth constituency forges partnerships with UN agencies, such as the government as well, and the private stakeholders. Like I mentioned previously, the people with the money, the people that can implement the plans, they need manpower and they need youth power. So here we are. Next slide, please. So this is a good time for the next icebreaker activity. Let's see if you're been paying attention.
Yes, yes,
take it over, please.
Yes, Ernesto. Thank you so much for the presentation. It was a very nice introduction about Unify. So we all know what's Unify, what is it came from, the core objective of the Unify. Now, as you said, it's time to know if our audience have paid attention to what we were saying. So we'll just keep asking them a very, very simple question. So what does Unify stands for? So as the first icebreaker, now we have the Mentimeter. So my friend is just pasting the link in the chat right now, so you can just directly enter to the Mentimeter, or just directly write the Mentimeter code, so you can be directed to the activity. And all you have to write is, what does Unify stands for? So now we are all waiting for your comments and your answers. So yeah, I can see some answers. Fédération Internationale Unique de la, I think it's in French or Spanish. United Federation of Youth, Nations International Federation of Youth for Water and Climate Change. Okay, United International Federation of Youth for Water and Climate Coalition. Youth Vision on Water Protection and Conservation. So Unify stands for what the U stands and the one, okay, and F, unify, hand in hand. Okay, what was it? So let me read. It's a platform. So what does Unify stands for? What does Unify stands for? Okay, let's have more inputs, guys. Come on. It's a platform, United Nations for Youth on Water and Climate Change. So, okay, let's have more. So, youth advocacy regarding water and climate. United Federation International. Unify. So, UN1FY. Think about it. This is the you have to know what's Unify. What Unify? What's the famous Unify that rocks all the movements now on water sector? United International Federation of Youth. Yes, my friends, this is the right answer. So United International Federation of Youth, and yeah, someone wrote our theme song. So by the way, we have a theme song on our channels. You can watch Unify theme song. So we say Unify hand in hand. We sing the anthem of hope. So Unify stands for United International Federation of Youth, and at the same time we have another thing. Hand in hand we sing an anthem of hope, an anthem of peace. Our voice tomorrow sustains. So yeah, so basically, my friends, Unify stands for two things. First is United International Federation of Youth. Second, United International Festival of Youth. So we have two meanings of Unify, as my colleague Ernesto explained in one of the slides before. So if they ask you what does Unify stands for, it stands for United International Federation of Youth, and the second one, United International Festival of Youth. So by this, I would like to give the floor to my colleague Ernesto, if he's ready to give us the insight and continue the presentation of the onboarding session. Ernesto, the floor is yours, my amigo.
Thank you very much, Peshang. So I like a few of the responses over there. We had people that were writing in French, that were overachieving, saying the United Nations International Federation of Youth for the Water and Climate Coalition. It's a platform that yada yada yada. You did your homework. I really like that. Thank you very much for the effort. But yes, we see that you've been paying attention. That makes me happy. So please, let's continue on with the presentation. The pillars of the WCC. So if you didn't know already, allow me to introduce you to the main pillars of engagement. These are the angles of attack for the change that we're looking to achieve. So we are dividing everybody in different teams. Let's say, for example, these are the Howard houses, right? So you are in the Water and Climate Education house, and you are in the Capacity Development house, and you're in the Global Mobility house. And all of these houses are here for you to adapt to your skill set so that you can produce the major impact without mattering where do you come from. It doesn't matter if you're a dancer, it doesn't matter if you're an engineer, it doesn't matter if you're a scientist, it doesn't matter if you're a cook. If you have any of the skills that are portrayed in here, you're welcome to join any of the teams. So let's go over the pillars one by one. The Water and Climate Education, it's pretty self-explanatory. This is for the headmasters, for the people that like to teach others, that like to lead the way with the education and believe that this is truly the core backbone of progress. We also have the Capacity Development house. which is in Slytherin green. Hopefully, I'm not gonna get copyright struck by the author of Harry Potter. The capacity development team. These are the people that train the trainers. So let's say that you want to become an educator, that you want to share your skill set, but you don't know really how to share with other people. You go to the capacity development pillar and you will learn the methodology to transmit knowledge, to transmit know-how. And that's fantastic. We also have the active engagement team, which you will mostly see strolling around in social media, sharing the posters of Unify in the wall, kind of like this pretty poster. I'm just shaking it so that my filter doesn't opaque it. And then they take a stapler and they like right in the wall. So the active engagement team, they are the cheerleaders, the people that are bringing all the attention to what really matters. And we also have the global mobility, which is the team that is in charge of coordinating the communications and the activities all around the globe. So you will have people, for example, from Nicaragua that are suddenly facing a flash flood. Well, how is that going to impact the rest of Latin America? Nicaragua is the breadbasket of Central America. So this is not only Nicaragua who's facing the issue, it's also Belize and Mexico and Guatemala and so forth. So everybody must be coordinated on what's going on and what are we going to do to fix it. So you activate the youth from this sector at once, or you can even ask for the people in the Netherlands, hey, we have this problem, how do we fix it? Or the people in Japan that are so accustomed to fixing problems with water, oh, hey, what is your restructuring planning? Can you please send us an expert so that we can fix this quickly? And of course, we also have the governance pillar, which I am proudly part of. And if you didn't know already, I am a renewable energy engineer. I'm really proud of that again. And the governance pillar is for those people that want to see the change in the cities, in the way that we organize our society. And we believe that there must be better ways to do what we're actually there are better ways to achieve what we're trying to do. So let's say in Mexico, there is 6 million people under 18 years old that do not have access to internet, and that impairs them in their ability to engage in a fast-pacing, competitive environment. So one way to fix that is come to with the government and say, hey, we need to change this policy. We need to make this available for them. And that's one way to engage with the governance pillar. Or, well, you can go over, oh, we need better energy management. We need better water management. We need better green spaces or green infrastructure management. And that is where my engineering degree comes helpful. But if you have a laws degree, or if you're simply interested enough to take the challenge and learn from the bottom up, governance pillar is for you. And of course, if you remember Miss Casey, that is the finance and partnership lead, she is part of the resource mobilization pillar. Again, in money green this time, not Slytherin green. These are the people that are interceding before the partners, the associates, to try to get the money into the projects. Now, let's move on to Unified Global Organization and Bubble. We have the global movement, which encompasses all of us, the institutions, the organizations, and the individuals. And we are followed by the national focal points, which are our main action makers in the national level. So it flows down from the top down, and then it cycles back to the top so that there is a bilateral communication. We also have the global focal points, which you remember from the first introduction slide. We had Susmita Misra and Anjanet Bantiles facing with the partners and delivering the results. We have the WCC Secretariat, Water and Climate Coalition, who are leading the policies in the UN processes and looking for our support, remember that. And of course, the regional focal point and global operations team. So here serving you, the regional focal point are in charge of overseeing the other focal points from the region, the national focal points, and coordinating the projects. So yes, let's go to the next slide. The global operations team, we will go over in a moment, don't panic. So again, the global focal points operate on a convention, global, regional, and national level. The regional focal points, or RFPs, from now on will be elected among the NFPs to communicate and aid the collaboration at the national level within their regions. The national focal points is two people that are elected at country level by the active members amongst the national chapter. They will ensure the localization of Unify objectives and be the primary validators of Unify accreditation process. By default, one of the NFPs will be part of the Unify Convention and its processes. Next slide, please. So the Unify Convention, what is this? Two global focal points that are elected by the convention will engage with the high-level stakeholders, facilitate international gatherings, and propose the adoption of relevant and inclusive changes at the global level. They serve as direct point of contact to the Secretariat. The Global Operations Team is composed of the 14 RFIPs constructed to lead and co-lead, one of each pillar based on their skills and expertise. They will ensure that the operational requirements and the final validators of the accreditation process. And the Unified Secretariat is in charge of the coordination, facilitation, and liaison with the UN entities as well as the WCC Secretariat. Next slide, please. Now let me crack my knuckles. The Water and Climate Youth Development and Agenda. Whew. Fancy brochure. So, the Youth Development Plan and Agenda, as its name already implies, serves to consolidate youth inputs for the UN 2023 Water Conference. It highlights the water and climate gaps and challenges, the youth perception of water and climate issues, and provides stakeholder-specific, concrete, actionable goals to help operationalize the collective youth demands vital for achieving SDG 6, SDG 13, and increased youth mobilization as partners for change. Basically, what this means is that we're gathering lots of data, we are analyzing it, we are understanding what the problem is, and we are coming up with solutions that are being backed by youth like you and me. And we are doing this with the power of statistics, of demographics. So, like I said previously, we don't all have the same problem. It is completely localized. It is unique to where you live. And we can only find out if people like you sum up to the Youth Development Plan and Agenda and say, hey, I don't have any water, and I'm in the Yucatan latitude. That means it's very humid, so that I can perhaps install a solar humidifier to produce water. And at the same latitude, you might find a country in Africa that is in the middle of the desert, so they cannot implement the same solution. They have to find their own. So it's demographics and learning the detailed problems that each one of you faces that we can come up with special, most effective solutions. We also have the perceptions and the gaps and challenges. Basically, what is the overall feeling that we have for the actual problem, and how can we improve the understanding of the problem so that it encompasses a better solution? Then the gaps and challenges. Again, young people, for example, we are doing this for the love of art. We don't necessarily have the money to implement the project straight away, so we depend on partners that are funding these projects and just monitoring us. And we have 5 main dimensions, which are to institutionalize a youth secretariat supporting existing UN agencies to monitor the progress of YDPA commitments by stakeholders. The dimension 2, which is to establish a water and climate youth fund. The number 3, which is the mandate the UN member states to adopt the YDPA according to their national context. Number 4, which is the mandate the UN agencies to allocate at least 15% of their annual budget specific for water and climate related policies, programs, projects, and activities, or PPPAs. And fifth and last, conduct a biennial multi-sectoral and intergenerational conference to monitor the progress of commitments of the YDPA. So again, this is the shortest way to say it. We are asking the big people to do something about it in a concrete way, and then we are going to monitor and deliver results to them. So the PPPAs It's the projects proposal for projects, programs, and activities, which is like, hey, I want to make a solar oven in my country, and I want to make a moisture capture device, and I want to make a dance project to gather money for, let's say, a charity fund. Okay, so that's a proposal. You can implement it with Unify. We will present it with your stakeholders and governments, and then we will develop the project with you. The solutions and commitments, you can see a mutual feedback, which means that each time that a solution is implemented, we are going to be monitoring it. How much was invested? What was the people that were working on it? What is the results? What can be improved? And of course, the monitoring and evaluation is basically going over these statistics and say, oh, hey, this works. So, hey, this can use a little bit more of work. Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, so unifying in numbers, we're really proud to have achieved this many members at this time. So we have over 4,500 individual members registered. Remember that also organizations can introduce themselves to Unify and register as members. And we have 4,500 plus YDPA respondents from 171 countries. That is a lot, but that's still not the entire world. So we are asking humbly for your help to reach to your friends for the far-flung regions of this world so that we can get their perspectives into the YDPA, so that nobody is left behind during the UN Water Conference when we are proposing the strategies to fix all of our problems. Let's say that I live in North Korea. It is very difficult to get respondents from North Korea. So how do we know how to help them if we don't get them on board? Now, the next slide, please. Thank you very much. Our timeline. So we've been working since February for the contact mapping and data gathering. The 14 interns that started this are in charge of getting the organizations, the schools, the governments, their friends, everybody on board, basically mapping out who is interested in and match their interest with us. In April, we made the first data synthesis for the Water and Climate Youth Development Plan and Agenda, which required a lot of brain power, and we have big brains in our team to come to put it together. In June, we started lobbying it publicly to the and privately to the stakeholders, and we presented it during the Dushanbe water process. During November, we are fresh with sand in our pants, coming out of COP27 and the COP 17 presentation, which many of you we got to meet in person. And of course, in March, we are aiming for the presentation of the Unified 2022 output during the UN Conference on Water in New York. Thank you. Next slide. So our selling features for the internal rules and code of conduct, this document that we humbly ask you to sign when you register is to ensure that every single member are adhering to a basic code of conduct and rules so that we ensure the smooth operations without mishaps and that every single member is upholding the highest professionalism when engaging with others. You are, after all, representing the entire constituency. One Unify member is all Unify members. So first of all, safety. You must adhere to your own country penal code so that you are never putting others or yourself in danger. We also have a clause for termination that is for those people that decide that they don't want to adhere to these protocols and that they just want to have the flair of the name and use it for their own benefit. We cannot allow that. I'm sorry. We also have clause for zero harassment policy, zero tolerance to harassment. So if anybody makes you feel uncomfortable, that is just enough for us to get moving and evaluate the situation. We are also protecting the intellectual property of the members that are engaging, such as artists that made songs, that made publicity, that made art, that are making projects, technical projects, research. We are protecting their intellectual property. And of course, the attendance. Again, it is super nice to be all around together in the party at the Unify Festival, but it would be far better if we all have something to brag about that we did during the year. So don't just show up for the party, make something that counts and brag about it afterwards. Basically, we are accounting for the people that are here, and those that are not, well, I'm sorry, but you cannot belong to the Cool Kids club. Just kidding, of course you can. But make sure that you are actively engaging with Unify if you want to stay in the party. Now, next slide, please. So for the meetings and procedures, this is more on the technical end. You will be engaging with your pillars of engagement and in plenty of meetings, so it's better that you understand what code are we using to talk. So if I say something that you like, let's say a proposal that I want to put 20,000 kilowatts for solar panels in my country, and I need help for that. Plus, plus, plus means, oh, that sounds like a great idea. Minus, minus, minus means, oh, I disagree because we do not have a provider for that, or we don't have the infrastructure or the technical knowledge for that. An X in the chat, hat or a house roof, that means that you have something to say about this. Oh, hey, this 20,000 watt may pose a problem in a region because we don't have a lot of solar energy, but we do have wind energy. So let's say that you want to be the guy that says, oh, wind energy, I know about wind energy. So you write in the chat the hat and you take it over immediately. We also have the T for time check. For example, it is 47 minutes and I promised that it would last only 35. And we have the C for clarification, in case that you didn't understood something that was just said. P for proposition, in case that you have already a concrete answer or solution. And Q for question. We will be handling the meeting schedules through Let Us Meet, which is a platform that allows you to mix and match the schedules to find the best time. We are going to make the schedule announcements in the general channel in Slack, and the minutes of the meetings, you will have access to the folders as the presentations and meetings happen. Next slide, please. So the communications channels that we are going to be engaging on is on Slack, which is a virtual office environment, Trello, which is a virtual task board monitoring, Telegram, which is going to be our main messaging, instantaneous messaging app, and email, which is our official communications channel with the government and stakeholders. We may have in the future WhatsApp groups, but they're going to be into far smaller, up to perhaps 200 or 300 members, because WhatsApp does not allow as many as Telegram, which can go up to 5,000 members even. Next slide, please. So what's next? What's next? Please, let's go to the next slide. So now that you are an onboarded member of Unify, we will be running the national focal point election. So for your country to be eligible, there needs to be a minimum of 25 members per country. If your country has not yet achieved this, you will receive an email along with your countrymen when this becomes available. The Global Operations Team onboarding, it's going to be pillar specific. So you are going to be engaging with the pillar that you fill out the onboarding survey that we sent over email with you. You will be contacted by the pillar that you choose, and the schedules for the meetings is going to be discussed over this email. And of course, the volunteer positions, because you may know we started with 14 and now we're 4,500. So that is a lot of work to do to spread the word and get to the 20,000 people that we need to reach for the UN Water Conference. So stay tuned for volunteer positions for side jobs that Unify may be communicating to the constituency. Next slide, please. Perfect. So the calendar of the membership activities, let's just go quickly over the bullets of the things that will be happening each month. So we will have a monthly membership update every first Friday of every month, the bi-weekly meetings between the Global Operations Team and the pillars, the bi-weekly meetings between the national focal points and the volunteers, the monthly meetings between Secretariat and regional youth focal points, and the monthly meetings between the regional youth focal points and national focal points. So you may notice from watching this agenda that you will have a full feedback loop that goes from the Secretariat to the focal points to the constituency to the global operations team, and we're just going to be feedback this into a better awareness for the entire constituency. Who's doing what and where am I needed? What can I do and how do I engage in there? And of course, what is going to be the results at the end of all the process that's going to happen each year. Thank you very much. Next slide, please. So now the Q&A. Peshang, would you like to take over?
Yes, Ernesto. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias for all the inputs, for your presentations. It was very nice, very inspiring. Thank you so much. So it was very enlightening. Now, and thank you, our dear followers and the people who are watching us, listening to us. Thank you all for your interactivity in the chat. I see many questions. Some are insisting on raising the question. I want to understand that. I'm very happy about it because they want to learn more about Unify and what's their role. So, and we got some interesting questions. So I will try to just select some questions and try to answer it. And one question that comes to my mind is saying that, can you describe the regional focal point structure? So the regional focal point is responsible for a specific region, and they are responsible for the national focal points in the region. For example, I am from Iraq, and I am the regional youth focal point for Northern Africa and Western Asia. So I will be responsible for the national focal points in my region. So in the MENA region, Middle East and Northern Africa. So then we would have our monthly meetings with each other, and we will try to just engage with the volunteers and national focal points in that specific region. And another question is that, please, do we have country directors? We don't use the word country directors. We use the national focal points. And yes, we will have national focal points for all the countries which their member amount exceeds 25, which, as my colleague Ernesto enlightened that. So we will be recruiting national focal points soon. So after this call, so please expect a follow-up email from us, which you can just see the playback of this onboarding session, and there you can have a link if you are interested in nominating yourself as a national focal point for your country. Then you are most welcome to do so. It's an inclusive process, and everyone is welcome to nominate themselves. Just we have a rule that each country should have at least 25 members. So if your country is listed in the country list, it means that you are able to nominate yourself for a national focal point. If not, it means that the people in your country, it does not. You don't have 25 members yet in your country. So the first thing that you need to do is gather more voice from your country to reach out to 25 members. Then in the next month's newsletter, your country will be eligible to have a national focal point, and you can nominate yourself. And we will send this in the follow-up email. Another interesting question which I received is that, so what makes Unify different from other youth organizations? So that's really important for us to know that. And what opportunities does Unify bring to youth people? Okay, so because there are many organizations, so what's the unique about Unify? So first of all, Unify is not an organization that competes other organizations. So we are a platform. We are like an airport. Our only job is to lead the organizations, the youth, to the right path and show them the right way to achieve more impactful results for tackling the climate change and water scarcity, water problems in the globe. And becoming a Unify member means that you will get exactly what you are doing before. So same thing that you were doing before in advocacy issues with amplified impact. So this is what is unique about Unify. We give the amplification to have a better impact. We connect you to other organizations and stakeholders in the water and climate space and help foster the collaborations between different and unconventional actors through the inclusive networking and partnerships. And I see a member that insisting in asking a question of what's our responsibility of as a new, fresh, unified members. Okay, so the short answer is be the best you. Okay, so we want to help you achieve your goals. Okay, so that when working hard to prepare the insightful, fun, exciting capacity development training to equip you with the much knowledge and skills to design and implement water and climate solutions. Okay, so as a unified members, you must take advantage of the trainings and pass the knowledge forward. So you are now in a training session, so you'll pass the knowledge forward to other new members, okay, and other people in your community. We also encourage you to invite other young people who are not typically associated with advocacy. So they don't have a direct contact with the water advocacy, but they are inside the community. So we encourage you to also invite them and to network with other youth organizations and share the best practices. So you can also propose and organize your own activity in your country and share it with the members there. Most importantly, now it's our responsibility as unified members to support the Water and Climate Youth Development Plan and Agenda, the YDPA that my colleague Ernesto tried to explain to you. So, and to lobby for it in the government so that we can gather commitments, okay, and implement the recommendation policies, projects, programs, and activities. So the YDPA is our main output, and it serves as a blueprint for synergized goals, global action, okay, for the SDG 6 by 2030. So first thing, if you need to gather more people around you, support the YDPA and transfer the knowledge that you gain from the trainings and try to have an impact on your community with the help of the platform supporting you, which is Unify. And there are many questions, but due to the limitation of time, I cannot answer. Let me answer the final question. So, how do members get integrated and informed on Unify activities? Okay, you are always welcome to email us at Unify. Okay, we have the Trello board, and the Telegram will be released soon by the Pillar Engagements, and we are also open in the social media account. So you can just write to us, and we will share with you. We have a monthly newsletter, so you will get to know all our activities during that month in the email. So be tuned and expect from us to send you a follow-up email, and there you can engage more. And if you have any questions, any concerns, any queries, please do not hesitate to ask and email us throughout our official email info@unify.org. And due to the limitation amount of time, I'm sorry that I cannot answer all the questions, but you are all time most welcome to just write an email to us, and we will be happy to answer you. So here, I want to finish this onboarding session. Thank you so much for listening to me, and please connect with us throughout our social media channels, platforms, and here it's the time to say that Unify is the place where we let our actions flow for tomorrow, and let our actions flow for tomorrow, and let's unify for water and climate. My name is Peshank Hamakarim, and I am from Iran. Thank you so much for listening to us, and stay safe, stay healthy, and see you soon in virtually or in place. Bye-bye.
To pave the way. Unify hand in hand, we sing an anthem of hope, an anthem of peace. Our voice tomorrow sustains, leading the change our world needs to see.
and climate sector, for knowledge exchange, for networking, to upscale the innovation, technological interventions and capacity building of young people.
UNIFY stands for the United International Federation of Youth for Watering Grants. So basically, we are